One of the problems that we all face out here is the complacency of others. Nobody gives a fuck about our rights. You all care about BLM. You've painted every man as a predator. And then you expect us to, worship you? Follow you around with a broom and a dustpan? Yes, a massa, yes, a massa. Yes, a massa. Jesus Christ. And so many fucking poor idiots. See, it ain't we the people. The people don't mean shit. That's because the people don't work together. Propaganda keeps you hating each other. Bias and racist laws keep you at each other's throats. I'm sick of the LGBT community. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the entire LGBT community doing so much to protect the predators within its ranks. You know, there's straight kids that get bullied for being gay too. Bullied right into suicide. Yeah, as a kid, everybody ran around calling everybody gay because we all had a bunch of fucking asshole parents who hated gay people because they were raised to be Christian. Why is it the gay people don't like Christians? Well, not all gay people are against Christians because not all Christians are against gays. If your friend is going to decide that they're not your friend anymore just because you like different parts in the bedroom, or they're not in the bedroom with you, and when is your bedroom ever anybody's business but yours? Here's the thing, unless you're out with your family, nobody should be able to tell if you're gay or straight. Your sexual orientation is nobody's business. If you got two men living together, they might be roommates. They might be gay. Who cares? Oh wait, Christians do. They always have to have people to hate and blame for all the problems that they're creating. Christians do not take responsibility for their actions any better than anyone else. Matter of fact, the history of Christianity is entirely hypocritical. All of it. Then we got predators like wolnez. And you notice I have to scream at the top of my lungs and act like a fucking predator. Using them words y'all don't like. Oh, how dare he? How dare you? They're just words. With all the malicious insults and assaults that I've had to endure, fuck you for passing judgment on anybody, you fucking punk. You cannot expect a disabled, at-risk fucking adult out here on the streets to walk away from every fucking piece of abuse. You can't tell me to go somewhere that supposedly got services for the homeless, where there's going to be a bunch of drug addicts, and then treat me like I'm a bad person for meeting a bunch of fucking drug addicts. When those people are predatory towards me, you do not get to pretend that it is my choice for hanging out with those people. You fucking send me there, you son of a bitch. You don't get to send me someplace where I am literally going to be taken advantage of, and then tell me it was my choice to go there. No, if I don't go, you say I'm not trying. No matter what I do, you use it against me. If I do what you tell me to, you use it against me. If I go to the places you tell me to, you use that against me. If I don't go just once out of 50 fucking appointments, you use that against me. Fucking Christ! All I've done since 2015 is jump through fucking hoops. I'm not a fucking circus monkey, god damn it! Hey, Sean, do trick! If you don't do the trick right, I'm gonna beat you. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for the beating. I still don't know what to do. I mean, you tell me to do something. You don't fucking show me. You don't do it with me. You don't teach me how. You do nothing to help provide a safe fucking environment where I don't have to constantly look over my shoulder. Instead, you helped to strip me of those things when I had them. Through the enormous expense of court costs and public fucking pretenders. Being forced to drive hundreds of miles to go to some place that's quasi-safe. Maybe. You don't get to fucking destroy a man's life, prevent him from going to court, prevent him from being allowed a court date, and then fucking shoot somebody. Y'all are fucked up people. Do people understand the dangerous shit that people do just in this? Oh, it's a very, very large town or a small city. This isn't a small town. But they like to pretend they are. These ain't farmers, these are rich people. They don't want to see poverty. Their resources won't go to helping poor people who are being victimized into a safe place where they're not victimized. No, you're going to shove us into a general area where we're going to be victimized by other poor people who are stuffed into that same situation. The helping hands thing, like I've tried everything that I can, but that helping hands thing ain't for me. It ain't something I can afford. I literally cannot possibly jump through all those hoops, but I have tried. The fact is, none of these people, none of them stopped and listened to understand. All of the stuff that you're telling me to do, I am not fucking capable. Plain and simple. No matter how much you beat me, no matter how much you threaten me, no matter how much you give me a goddamn sandwich, alright, well, I gotta charge up my phone a bit, make sure that it doesn't die on me. It's down to 22%. Let's see what time it is. 12:03. People don't show they care by buying you sandwiches, by buying you a shirt or some socks. That shows that they care, doesn't it? Well, to what degree? When you're being assaulted, it's nice to have some creature comforts, isn't it? It's nice to have a extra layer of clothing on so that you're just a little bit warmer. It's not that you're ungrateful for what you're given. It's that if someone actually cares about you as a human being and you're being abused, they want it to stop. When you're a man, nobody gives a shit. You have to do it yourself. Well, if you're not capable of doing it yourself, nobody cares. This is why I fight so hard for assisted termination of life. Forcing disabled people into a job market when they're so likely to be ignored when abused, especially here in Idaho, right? What was them folks saying earlier? That Oregon voted that it would basically be Idaho and Portland. But a lot of these people consider values, it's not values, it's hatred. But also I get to see out of the LGBT community some of the most disgusting bullshit ever. We fought hard for equal rights, not to listen to a bunch of fucking assholes being gloating assholes. I mean, there's a difference between taking in pride in who you are and where you come from. It's another thing entirely to just go running around going, ha 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 ha. We can do whatever we want. We can do whatever we want. You can't do nothing. Ha 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 ha. I am disgusted with the LGBT community because of this. We've got plenty of gay people that you could listen to that are reasonable human beings. We don't need a bunch of fucking hotshot, hothead fucking assholes trying to call themselves feminists, expecting us to do the regular gender role thing, right? Like guys are always expected to be guys. We're expected to fit that gender role. We're also having our sexuality forced on us, which is dumb. You can try forcing me to be gay all you want. It's not possible. I'm not gay. You can try forcing me to be straight all you want. Not possible. I'm not straight. Criminal charges need to be brought against Alicia Bollinger and her entire family, as well as every police officer involved in assisting them in committing those felonies. That would include literally every single police officer that I spoke with. Every single one. See, here's the thing with all of these idiots in power, is that I understand the repercussions for me if they choose not to do their jobs that they are either duly elected or appointed to. It is a duty. They don't get the option of not doing their jobs, but they seem often enough to just not do their jobs when it's a disabled homeless man, like all the time. And I got all these folks out here saying, well, there's nothing you can do, there's nothing you can do. Well, you know what? That's just nonstop negativity. That's why those guys are out here. They're not willing to lift a goddamn finger to speak up when somebody else is being fucking harmed. Why the hell would anybody speak up for them? Last night was a scary mess. On the bright side, it's both illegal and immoral to bully disabled people or otherwise in the way that I've been bullied. There's a whole bunch of gay people that I know that are antagonistic assholes. But I still stick up for gay people. I also get called the F word a lot. Y'all don't like being insulted back. You don't like me using the mean words that I do. Well, I save it for the internet, and I say it loud and proud. I don't have to gaslight people. All I gotta do to piss somebody off is tell the truth. God bless America. Fuck. We got a lot of people out here on the streets that are just trying to survive. They ain't messing around with the drugs. They ain't messing around with none of that stuff. And they're the ones that are fucked around with the most. That shit ain't okay. Now, of course, we'll go about the daily schedule, I guess. Sit and wait. I'll see if I can get up and go inside. I hope I can. For a few days there, it was really bad. I better take my stuff with me. So, Nicole Bertner pawning me off on Brian. What did that result in? Resulted in me getting ripped off $40, me getting some of my stuff stolen, me being told to place I took myself sick, having to harm myself and over and over again. Like, that is harmful. I don't get that. Like, if you're able-bodied, yeah, that's fucking fine. It's fine. You can do all that shit when you're able-bodied, but I'm not. And then I'm treated like I'm not crying. Fucking you show up, but you don't. Over and over again. Then I'm always my fault. It's not my fault when people get sick. It's not my fault when people are lazy. It's not my fault when people are liars. I got a bad habit of blaming things on people that ain't their fault. Bonjour.
Good, how are you?
I'm still breathing. Thank you for asking. I only got warm clothes because they're nice people. People to help, especially women, because I'm a man. And we've seen how men are treated when it comes to actually helping or coming through. My disabilities only exist magically when my predators benefit from it. And then I'm sane and intelligent only when my predators benefit from it. And what is my public defender going to do? Someone calling themselves Meow the Cow type of bro, you good? I try to be. I try to be. Unfortunately, we got a lot of predators in this world asking for a beat down or a bullet to the head. And I'm not willing to give it to them. You think that's scary? I don't even have the ability to deliver any such thing. There's a reason I don't carry a firearm. Here's why I don't carry a firearm. I've never had an occasion that would have been improved by having one. Cops are shitty and they'll look for any excuse. Your Second Amendment will get you shot. Oh, great. A little smoke in the eye is always good for you, ain't it? That's right. I have to pretend I'm not overwhelmed all the time, and I'm just not capable. It's a fucked up and inhumane thing to do. You expect us to shut up about the problems that we're experiencing and go to the back of the goddamn bus. Oh, and by the way, go to a bunch of services, give up all of your money to all of those services running around to do all the shit they want you to do, and not a goddamn one of them is going to do their job as a mandated reporter. So last night on my channel, there was a bunch of tweakers, a bunch of people yelling at me and pointing at me, and fuck, I don't want to be stuck in none of this shit. If I don't listen to their obsessive fucking druggy bullshit, then they throw a fucking tantrum. If I don't let it be their turn to talk and tell me a bunch of shit that's belittling and fucking talking down to me, like, no, I'm not gonna fucking listen to that. When all these situations first start, it's always some asshole fucked up on drugs thinks it's okay to go fucking around with people. Now that Andrew Wolnez feller, for example, He wanted to be predatory, and he wanted to go slandering my name as an excuse to do so. But we can't be having that. And we can't have police officers running around and slandering somebody's name. Someone called himself Faster Dragon Tamer 561 typed you good. No, not really. I try to be a good man and I follow my morals to the best of my abilities. Sometimes you gotta do desperate things. Like give people a tiny taste of equality. But then again, I don't have it in me to keep on doing that. If I give people a tiny example of what I go through every day, they flip their fucking lid. Oh my God. Well, holy fuck, you pampered little goddamn princess. And that's really where the United States is at today. We've taught every girl that she's a princess who's owed. For what? I don't fucking know. Are we owed for years of abuse? What about my body, my choice, right? Well, what happens if a man says no? What happens if a 14-year-old boy says no? A 14-year-old boy could get locked up and put on a sex offender registry for telling a girl no. Yeah. Dumbasses. There are some very, very vindictive women out there. And when pissed off, well, it can get a lot worse. See, everybody's got a little bit of stupidity in them, right? Like a girl who just wants to keep on hitting a boy, keep on hitting a boy, keep on hitting a boy. So you can't hit me, I'm a girl. Really? Well, you hit him enough. Yeah, he might eventually hit you back. If you're going to listen to an idiot like Dr. Phil who says it's never okay to hit a girl, or it's never okay to hit a woman, well, I wonder what he would do if his 300-pound wife had two of his children already drowned in the bathtub and had the third one's head under the water. Yeah, that's not statistically something that a man is going to do. Men don't typically drown their kids in the bathtub. That's typically a mother thing to do. A very common occurrence in the United States. Why is it the majority of felicides, that's a murder of a parent towards their child, which, well, let's look at it like this. When it comes to violent deaths of children, violent deaths, that's shot, stabbed, stuff like that. 31% of the time it's the father, 31% of the time it's the mother. That means that overwhelmingly, 62% of the time that you're violently murdered, it's one or the other of your parents. How strange. people have such useless excuses. Like, oh, everyone's got problems. Not everybody has problems with zero people who actually give a shit if they're harmed or not. See, that's the thing about literally all of my friends and family. None of them through all of this gave a shit or give a shit to this day if I am harmed, and I am frequently and often. A lot of people here at Safeway like me, but they don't care if I'm beaten on. They don't care if I'm shot or stabbed. They don't care if my name is being slandered in a way that is going to make me a target until I'm dead. When males are abused, we're not allowed to come forward. We're not just bullied and ostracized. You don't understand that bullying isn't just bullying. It isn't just a couple of mean words online. Now, how many of you sensitive ass bitches kill yourselves over words online? There are no words that you can call a woman that will get her bullied that bad. She has to be extra sensitive. Finding out there was a rich girl who was not murdered, but committed suicide. Goddamn drug use. Alright, so they use it right there where that guy is. They sell it at that end and at the far end over there. This is actually where some of the employees who like me tell me to park. All along this row here. This is actually the most defensible place for me to be. The other parking spaces, I do worry a little bit more about other people's vehicles being harmed. I did park a little too far over this time. I did pay 10 extra cents for a grocery bag here. That way I can use it as a garbage can. Now you notice I'm always on edge. That's inevitable out here, especially as a disabled person and as a homeless person and as a male. I know that when a woman has a bad day, I'm the person she's most likely to take it out on. I know when a male is frustrated when he's out shopping, I'm the person he's most likely to take it out on. There's me or there's a junkie 3 times my size. Who's he gonna go accusing of being a junkie and yelling at? Last night there was that Kevin feller throwing a hellacious tantrum. Real hateful feller. I did give him $5 about a week ago. First he gets into a fight with that Christian feller. I don't even want to call him a Christian. That just seems naughty somehow. Vulgar. Y'all want to pretend that it's antagonistic to record people victimizing you. That's not antagonistic. That's making sure that it's recorded. If they're going to kill you over that, well, at least it'll be fucking recorded. When you want to say, oh, he just didn't like being recorded. No, he committed crimes and didn't like being recorded committing crimes. If people weren't being shady, they wouldn't have nothing to hide. So I don't trust anybody who isn't willing to be recorded. Shit, I lost one of my needles. Or my sewing kit. It's, well, it came in this. Obviously, there was a cardboard backing on it, and I can't keep my vehicle dry. Can't keep my stuff dry either. Now, some of y'all may have noticed I blame women an awful lot. And I blame men an awful lot. That's because we're all taught the same thing. All boys and girls are taught that boys are supposed to protect girls. All boys and girls are taught nobody's supposed to give a shit about boys. Now, your words are not your teachings. I don't know how many times I've heard somebody say a pretty meme, some famous quote, or some piece of wisdom their mama gave them, and done exactly the opposite. And I don't know how many times people have decided that one of these pretty memes that they have to dismiss somebody with a long-winded goddamn story doesn't even apply to the situation. But they done wasted enough of your fucking time talking nonstop about nonsense that they want to shove it in your face that they helped you. Remember I told you that story of the lady in the rising creek? I think I've heard the story before. The one with the flood and God sends 3 boats. Yeah, cute story. Y'all fuckheads are using faith wrong. Oh, I don't want to tell the truth. You need to just give it to God. Well, holy shit, you ain't a real Christian. On the bright side, it's something I'm used to. Oh. Alright. You know, there's a lady who was going to help me. She was supposed to get off work early today, and I don't know when that was. I did just notice that my charger here doesn't work. Oh, there it goes. Much better. Rudy K type. Yeah, tell the truth. How lesbians think they still believe in God. They're screwed up. Well, I think it depends on the lesbian. See, one thing is, I blame the LGBT community for looking away as a community. However, I do understand that each individual within that community, same as within each individual in a Christian community, each individual is different. I know lots of homosexuals that are, quite frankly, disgusted by little boys. The reason they don't find little boys attractive like we all want to sell, right, Isn't that the whole popularized image that we've been given since we were little boys? Is that all homosexual men want to screw us up our buttholes because we're cute little boys? The reality is, most of the homosexual men that I know, I'm not manly enough for. I don't have a chiseled figure. I don't have the V shape. I don't have a gruff voice. Like a lot of the homosexual men I know are not into the, oh my God, look what I can do with my wrist. Now, as far as procreation goes, it's time to stop shaming men for having a sex drive. All right, that's part of our genetic makeup, same as it's part of a woman's genetic makeup. Yes, women have something called sexual arousal. Men have something called sexual arousal. Being sexually aroused doesn't mean you're going to rape somebody. Rudy K type, they're teaching this in school and think it's all right for kids. Well, the reality is, women hold the majority decision in this country. If the woman in your life bullies you enough or gets enough of her commission of marriage, almost every married woman I know has a group of 5 or more women that'll all stand around and gaggle and talk shit about each other's husbands and their own, about how horribly stupid men are and how men have it easy. Holy shit. Why are you going to be talking with 4 other grown-ass women about your husband's skibby skid marks? Holy shit. Now here I get to deal with a guy who's a drug dealer named Andrew Wolnez. Wanted to claim he's seen me doing blues. Wanted to claim he don't touch that shit. And that guy last night with a gun, John, he was a witness to Wolnez beating the side of my vehicle. He also states pretty straight and clear, nobody likes the dude. If you come to my channel and you hear me talking like my predators, oh, you ain't gonna like me either. That's why I do try to make a distinction between my own beliefs on this channel and being an asshole about popular opinion. Popular opinion is stupid. I believe that every single person should have a reason and accountability test. Do you understand what being reasonable is? Are you capable of being reasonable? And are you accountable? Now, one of those tests, how many of y'all guys get into this situation in a relationship where a woman is constantly testing you? It has to be a test. Because always, in these movies that they fucking watch, you always have to test the guy to see if he really loves you. But you're constantly being tested like, holy Christ, can I please take a break? Can I have a rest from all of your testing? Oh, I have to test if he still loves me. Jesus Christ. I had a guy ask me once, because I was sticking up for women and their decisions in relationships. He said, all right, if you were married and your wife wanted a freebie, like if there's that one person that, you know, she's always wanted to just get it on with, she just had this sexual fantasy since way back in the day when she was listening to their teeny bop group, Now you're married and you're fucking 20 something years old and 22, 25, whatever. You gonna give her a freebie? Like, let's say she was in love with, I want to say it was one of the Backstreet Boys, right? Let's say she wanted a freebie. Like, if she ever runs into this one dude from the Backstreet Boys, would you let her? Like, yeah, I would. But I don't think most married men would. If he was to do the same thing, it would not be treated in the same way, now would it? Of course not. Now, why would I say that it's okay if I was married? Because I'd have a sexless marriage. She'd have to go get some dick from somebody else if she wanted it. For me, being married to somebody would be a marriage of convenience, basically. Now, I'm going to tell you straight up, it is okay to be gay. It's not okay to force heterosexuality or homosexuality onto people. And when you've got literally dozens of homosexuals who make a chorus about how they're coming for our kids, why do I say our? Because according to them, I'm a heterosexual. I'm not included in their group. I'm not interested in men or women because I'm grossed out by mucus. It's gross. It's icky. There's also the experiences I had as a child that I don't see how anybody would want to go through that. Sorry, there's a bunch of condensation on my window, and the leaves move there in a certain way. It's a dark pattern of movement, and I always try not to look over at it because I know that it's just the wind blowing that branch. But if you're a guy, you know what this is like, being constantly on alert. If you have ever been a guy who has been asked to go on a trip with women and their children, you know exactly what you're there for. You're there because it makes them less approachable. They're there with their families, not a single woman just there with her kids. And how many of us guys have provided those services? Even us who are ugly as fuck. Once in a while, even getting prepped beforehand, but most of the time, you already know what the scoop is. She basically just doesn't want to be messed with while she's out and about. And by messed with, I mean, you know, how many of the homeless guys out here that are fucked up on drugs all the time want to go up to women and start conversations with them? They're there at the park. They're very uncomfortable because there's drug dealers and drug addicts coming up and talking to them and macking on them. But it's not always them, is it? If he's unattractive, he's probably going to get treated that way anyway. If she's with unattractive guys, they're hanging out and just playing. Well, everything's copacetic. It still looks like a family. And of course, there's going to be people who are going to judge. Like, what's that pretty woman doing with that ugly dude? Like, oh my God, he looks like a troll. Well, of course I do. Trolls are a lot more intimidating looking than Prince Charming. Trolls look devious and sinister. Oh. So there's uses for ugly men. There's uses for good-looking men. There's uses for broke men. There's uses for dumb men. You sucker the stupid men into doing your bidding, and then you play stupid. Now, I am 100% for the rights of the LGBT community. However, that is rights, not privileges. Nobody who wants to identify differently should be given special privileges because of it. If I get 72 keys tattooed on my back and identify as a piano, is anyone going to come play? Doesn't that sound strange? Well, of course it does. If I identify as an anvil and you drop a piano on my head, will I survive? It's a good question. No, it's fucking not. It's fucking rhetorical. That's how stupid the question is. But this is what we were expected to warp our reality to by law now. And I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with Jesus being forced into schools for good reason. I have seen what Christians do over their argument of which Jesus is the right Jesus. None of those Jesuses belong in church. I've read the Bible. I have not yet found this Rambo Jesus. That hateful, conservative Christians, they call themselves conservative Christians. That ain't conservative, that's extremist. Where in the Bible did it say you can't love a homosexual? Where in the Bible does it say that you have to have sex with someone to love them? You love your mother, you don't have sex with her, do you? Well, you would hope not, but statistically, yeah, she's the most likely woman to molest you. Followed by aunts, and then teachers. Nurses are high up on the list, but they get away with it because they're nurses. They get away with it under the guise of doing what they're professionally told to do. Even if it wasn't deemed medically necessary. One college got in trouble for using long-term coma patients for teaching students how to put in catheters. It's pretty gross. I record all the time if I'm capable, because I'm so frequently victimized and taken advantage of. Now, if I stand up for myself, I'm told it's my fault that it happened. No. Frequent and ongoing abuse because of slander is a common occurrence in the United States. If a woman doesn't get what she wants, all she's got to do is slander your name. I know there's more parents that watch this than non-parents. Y'all know this all too well, don't you? How many of you been through a divorce? Had to go through the accusations. Like here you were, model husband. Or of course, only half model husband, because you know that you drink a bit too much and you yell too much. But damn, it's hard not to yell at somebody who's constantly yelling at you, ain't it? And then you get the two wrongs don't make a right. People ignore you while you're being abused, and you're not abusing back. And you go for help as a male, and you're talked over. It becomes discussion time and trying to just readjust your way of thinking, right? Everybody wants you to think differently. You should view it differently. You need to look at it from the woman's perspective. I already have. As men, we're all taught to do that. We're all taught to look at a woman's perspective. Every one of us. All of us have mothers. There's also a majority of us who are sick of it. Hey, stop fucking woman-splaining every goddamn thing at me like I'm retarded. Women constantly expect all of us to bow down to their will. And you know what? Most of us who believe their bullshit are kicking ourselves in the ass for it. No, you women are not being sexually abused in the numbers that you're claiming. Between Facebook and Twitter, we've come to realize that the majority of accusations by females today are false. The majority of the time when a woman makes accusations, there is something else going on that she doesn't want anybody to hear. Predators spend a lot of time trying to get people to not listen to their victims. When people bully me on here, I block them. Does that make them my victims? No. That means I'm sick of predators, and these predators are easy to get rid of. I just block them. Although some of them have actual access to me in real life, which you don't stop to consider, ever. I've also got examples of this, where people are predatory in real life and online over and over again. You think that the Lutherans and the Baptists are ever going to be able to agree on which Jesus should be in the schools? It's not a possibility, and you goddamn well know it. You're not going to find two Baptist churches that are going to agree on which Jesus should be in there. I try to keep recording 24 hours a day if I can, but it's not possible. I stick up for gay people, but not for predators that just happen to be gay. Also, if you want to be an antagonistic asshole and do the ha 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 thing, well, you're making things bad for everybody. You're also showing that special rights don't fucking work. When we fought for equal rights for these people, and they were given special rights instead, it made it bad for all of us. It made it so a homosexual or a lesbian would get special treatment when victimizing, just like we did for black people. Or a black person can try starting a fight with you, aggravate the situation, step in front of you so you can't leave over and over again. Call me the N-word. I dare you. Call me the N-word. I know you want to. Call me the N-word. Like, shit, you ain't done nothing wrong. You ain't racist. You're not interested in problems. You're certainly not interested in calling somebody the goddamn N-word. But you got some uppity asshole who thinks it's okay to be a racist asshole and to play on the race card to try to justify his bullying. Oh, it's okay for him to victimize you because he's already assigned you as a racist. So it don't matter that you don't say it to him. He's going to swing at you anyway eventually, probably when you're walking away. And he's going to tell everybody that you called him the N-word anyway. Or you got this gay person next door, right? You're a decent Christian man. You take your kids to Sunday school. You go through Mass just like everyone else. You're not one of those Christians that's out there doing drugs and trying to manipulate people. You genuinely believe the bullshit that you're selling us. And you got a next door neighbor who sees that you got a cross on your house somewhere, sees it through your window, or sees a picture of the Catholic Jesus on your wall through the window, and wants to come over and pick at your front yard because you hate homosexuals and plant a bunch of LGBT flags in your yard. Now you know that your faith has historically not liked homosexuals. You also know that the current Pope, well, he does happen to think that homosexuals are still people. So you're actually fine with these flags in your yard. You're just not fine with the fact the person who put them there, first of all, didn't ask for permission, and second of all, wanted to yell hateful slogans at your house for 45 minutes first thing in the fucking morning. And we all have to deal with these assholes. We have to deal with the assholes that want to pretend all homosexuals are horrible people. And then we have to deal with the LGBT assholes. Very specifically, the ones who are not interested in being treated like humans. No. What they're interested in is being able to bully people, and nobody's allowed to defend themselves against them. You're not allowed to defend yourself against a homosexual today. It's a fucking hate crime. So, of course, you got this uppity LGBT person thinking that, lo and behold, it's okay. They can bully you. And if you say anything, you're horrible and a homo hater. You're homophobic. You're stomping on their special rights. Because you said, no, I don't want you bullying me and putting stuff in my yard without my permission. You can ask nicely, and you can talk to me like I'm a person. No, you people ain't gonna listen to us. You know what you people do? You people. Fuck. You wanted the right to be treated like a human being, same as us. We give you that right, and you treat us like we're not human beings. I've had to deal with hatred from the heterosexual community, who wants to call me all sorts of hateful words and pretend I'm a homosexual as an excuse to harm me because it's popular to not like homosexuals in an area. Of course, then you got the LGBT community thinking it's okay to bully the entire heterosexual community. And of course, you, although you're not a heterosexual, they're going to plant you in that category so they can talk down at you like it's your fault, like you did it, like it's your choice. Through the entirety of what I've gone through, the LGBT community that I supported for years and years and years and years, all of my LGBT friends, every single one of them, bar none, wanted to look the other way. My rights don't matter because I'm not gay. How about Christians? Oh, they might listen to you if you pretend to believe in. But you better believe in their specific rendition of that deity, or they're going to make your life hell, or tell you you're wrong about the Jesus. You're wrong about the Jesus. That's not what the Bible says. Okay, that's what the Bible says, but that's not what it means. Oh, now you're going to be suggestively interpretive dancing through the holy book that you're and to us that we're not to reinterpret. Fuck. Then we got a lot of people in the gay community that are still real hateful at the Christian community for the way the people chose to interpret the Bible, and still want to say that all Christians should be killed because of their support of what's happened to homosexuals throughout the years. Well, holy hell, there's lots of Christians that haven't supported it, obviously, or there would be no homosexuals out of the closet. None. Homosexuals came out of the closet because Christians allowed it without killing them anymore. But I'm not going to pretend that Christians did not kill homosexuals for centuries. Of course, for Vikings, they were allowed to be homosexual. Same thing with the Spartans. We want to talk about how tough the Spartans are and glorify the Spartans. I know a lot of Christian-going boys who wear Sparta brand equipment, stuff with Sparta written all over it, and they will still spout that same hateful anti-LGBT crap. You know, if you were a real Spartan, you'd have had a boyfriend. Yeah. That's right, a boyfriend. One of the rites of passage for a Spartan boy, you know what it was called? This is no joke. The agoge. That's right. Although it's not what you might think. I've been hoping for a call back, but it's only 1:17. I'm using up a lot of gas, having to deal with a lot of predators, and of course, y'all know me, I'm going to voice my opinion regardless of your goddamn opinions. I'm also going to state true facts. Now, we've got a lot of people who promise to help me that, well, you can tell when a woman's fucking with your head about helping you when she says things like, your truth. Shut the fuck up and back the fuck up off me. And by bitch, I'm not referring to either gender. If you're going to come up on somebody and spout ignorant shit like that, back the fuck up off. That guy last night with a gun. Yeah, it was probably just a BB gun. However, I don't know. What I do know is he got into a fight with another man on this property right after he was fucking with me real heavy. I had to listen to a bunch of religious bullshit. Now, we're not talking about a Christian who's a little bit telling you about their God. No, we're talking about somebody who's drugged out of his fucking gourd on some sort of holy recourse mission. Whew. The guy is a hell of a nice guy, but the other thing is, if you don't listen to his bullshit, it's So he wants to tell his bullshit stories. Just so you know, we got homeless addicts out here who are homosexuals telling those same bullshit stories. We got drug addicts out here who believe they're part of the Church of Satan. They go to the regular churches to get food and will pretend to be Christian to some people if they feel there's a benefit to it. As far as my beliefs go, when you interrupt a victim to start talking about the Jesus, you're changing the subject in the worst kind of way. When you're telling them to give it to Jesus, you're showing them that you don't care, also that you're not a real Christian. When you're not going to do the right thing because it's not your job, keep in mind it's nobody's job. But if you decide that's the decision that you've made, and you've just worst place. Every time you look away from the crimes committed by others, you are making the world a worse place. Andrew Wolnez is just one of many predators. The point here was never just Andrew Wolnez, just like with Robert Farnsworth. The problem was never just Robert Farnsworth. And the situation with Molly. The problem was never just Molly. It's the inappropriate response. The assumptions of guilt, the slander by police officers. People don't stop to understand how fucked up I really am, both physically and mentally. When you're stuck in public during a drug epidemic as a homeless, you're gonna be targeted. If you're part of the LGBT community, you can get on my channel and find 1,000 reasons to hate me. Well, 1,000 excuses. If you're part of the Christian community, you can get on my channel and you can find 1,000 excuses to hate me. However, if you want equal rights, you're going to get on my channel and you're going to realize that I have fought for all of our rights because we're all people. We need to establish basic human rights, and we need to stick with it. When you can grossly reinterpret the law as interpretive dance, well, what the fuck do we even have laws for? Someone calling themselves CNS type, hey, I don't hate you. I like that response. I'm stuck recording in public for a reason. A lot of times, if I'm able to, I'll listen to a documentary while I'm recording. I'm not recording all the time just to be annoying and talk nonstop. Because I'm abused so often that I have to. Now, people expect me to say nothing and do nothing and just take it like a little bitch every time people harm me. Well, no, that's not going to happen. If I'm calm and collective about it, you pretend it's not a major issue. When I have a mental breakdown over you all treating it like it's not a major issue, you treat me like I'm a fucking nut job who deserves to be abused. When it comes to women, if a woman pretends that you might hurt her, you get 5 to 12 women and their brothers, spouses, fathers, whoever, all fucking with you. And nobody cares when you go for help. Many, many men have engaged in stalking against other men for women. A lot of women will find some idiot, some ugly chump, short, fat, thick old glasses, bald. No woman in her right mind is going to look at him and go, man, he's quite the catch. He's broke, might even live with his mama or his grandma. You don't know. But yeah, that dude will come over and fuck with you. Like, dude, you got a lot of weight behind you. If you hit me, it'd probably hurt. But if you fell down off the porch you're standing on, you might end up squishing yourself. I remember in the 80s people saying it's not okay to hit people with glasses. Well, they better take their glasses off before they start swinging at you. The rational thing for a person to do when they're being assaulted is to fight back. But I'm not allowed to fight back, or I will get treated like I'm the abuser. If I'm angry about it, does that justify it? If I'm angry about you assaulting me, does that somehow justify the assault? If you assault me and I speak up, does it make it my fault that you assaulted me? If you threaten to assault me and I start recording and then you assault me, am I a horrible person for recording you after you started threatening me? No. In none of these cases am I a bad person for doing that. But I have to deal with a bunch of sexist fucking predators. I've had men that I know who have gone to jail for fighting with women who got a hold of me to pretend I was some sort of a horrible person who did horrible shit to women. Why? Because it was popular. I'm like, dude, you don't know any woman that I've ever done any such thing to. But thank you for calling. I heard you're this, and I heard you're that, and who'd you hear it from? Consider the source. We're all supposed to believe police officers, huh? Well, we've got police officers recorded, as well as other people the police spoke with recorded, stating outright that what did the police say? Police were telling people I was wanted for murder in Colorado. That's right. They were also running around telling people I was a druggie. That's right. And of course, many people, like that guy last night, wanting to pretend like John was my friend and somehow magically that makes it okay for him to flip shit on me. Oh, hell no. Now, that guy's got some severe mental problems. So does John. So does Andrew Wolnez. That doesn't make it okay for them to be predatory towards me. And with me not being able to go to the cops by myself and nobody caring, hey, if you don't go with me, I'm going to get talked over. If you don't make the calls with me, I'm going to get talked over. You don't understand that I can't function because of the environment that I am forced to live in. If you don't help, I won't get help. I'll get run around in circles like everything with a dick gets sent around in when we're fucked with in the United States. How many men do I know who are beaten frequently and refuse to call it into the police because they're afraid they'll get arrested? A lot. Why are women 30 times more likely to get physically violent in a relationship than men? If men are so fucking violent, why are women 30 times more likely to get physically violent? And why do we ignore that fact and only go for the arrest records? All the arrest records show is bias. The police officers assume guilt based on gender. And that all they have to do is literally ignore the victim. In most of these cases, the male is the victim, not the female. In the majority of domestic violence situations, the male is the victim. Yeah, like 30-1. There's lots of different polls that are taken among college students. Like the one where they asked 500 men and 500 women, how many of them, before the age of 15, had a sexually intimate relationship with a partner who was at least 5 years older than them. Out of the ones that, and there was a significant number, out of the ones that said yes, 59% of the perpetrators were women. Girls and boys are taught that if a man touches you inappropriately, it's wrong. But we're also taught that if an older woman touches a boy inappropriately, it's a rite of passage. It's somehow magically not wrong. Well, legally, it's still illegal. But we give female predators a lot more leeway. And we cannot do that when they are so much more likely to get away with it to begin with. When we are lucky enough to catch a female predator, because a victim was willing to come forward, because they were actually heard once they did come forward. These are both miracles when it comes to the world of males being abused. A male who's not too afraid to come forward, and somebody who actually listened to a male victim. But then we gotta have one more miracle. Somebody actually helping the male victim the way that you would help a female victim. A female victim, if she come to you and told you the problem was so serious that she needed to go to the cops and she needed your help to do so that she could do so safely, because her predator was calling her mentally ill. Like Officer Mike Reeves assaulting his own niece in this very parking lot. 14-year-old girl. I caught it on camera. It was right after a situation with Robert Farnsworth. And I think I was about 40 minutes into the video, just pulled into this parking lot. And what do I see? 3 girls down here. They're being pretty loud. They're trying to turn in something that's going on while they're being chased and pursued. Two of those girls were just trying to help the third girl to turn in abuse by her stepfather. And they kept saying that. And the cops literally ignored it. Why? Because they were able to use the police department as their own personal army to do whatever the fuck they wanted because they had a relative on the inside. Now that is a major conflict of interest. And for that uncle to assault that 14-year-old girl the way that he did, that is not fucking okay. We also got parents here in Oregon held hostage by their own kids. When is it okay for a kid to put a baseball bat through their parents' window? Yeah, cops tell you that's not against the law apparently here. Well, is that just for minorities or no? It's a good question to ask as well. Alright. I still don't have any help. I still have to go to YouTube because I have no real friends in person who are going to actually take the time. And of course, when people want me or expect me to do what they want right when they want it, or expect me to listen to their crazy bullshit, and I won't do it, then it's instant insults, and then oh, well, I was gonna help you, but now I won't. No, you weren't. Nothing in the words between you and I showed that you were ever going to do anything at all to help. And it wasn't until I wasn't going to listen to any of your crazy bullshit that you start pretending that you were gonna. No, you weren't. You start saying, oh, I had to think about, I also got this going on and all this legal stuff, and I've got an aggravated assault. And yeah, that's not indicating that you're going to help at all. That's indicating that you're backtracking. You're backpedaling. Now, that John feller last night, no, I wasn't going to sit there and listen to that. The stuff that I have to do when predators are being antagonistic assholes and fucking pushing me and pushing me and pushing me. Yeah, that's not me being antagonistic. That's me standing up to bullies. Don't come stepping up on me just because I'm gimpy and easy to fucking beat up. I'm not just going to stand there and let you beat me up. And I'm not just going to turn my back on you and let your cowardly ass sucker punch me in the back of the head. Which, as you can see, happened many times. You don't do something fucked up, you won't be recorded doing something fucked up. You want to pretend that I'm a bad person for recording when I'm stuck in public? No, that doesn't make me a bad person. We got a dipshit. Calling themselves Swifty. Well, they're easy to get rid of. I'd use her on this channel. God damn, that was easy. You see how easy that was? That's not as easy to do with Andrew Wolnez. It's not that easy to do with Robert Farnsworth. Robert Farnsworth followed me to multiple locations to harass me. Andrew Wolnez, same thing. Same thing with James Murphy.
Cracker. You are a cracker. Nothing? Okay. Salt shaker. No? Oreo filling. Alright, fine. Albino ape. Zane. Copy and paste. And default color. Wow, I've never seen an experiment this conclusive. It's impossible to offend a white person. Send them home with the $50, and please remember next time, tell the subject to wear all black from the camera. That puking is doing nobody any favors. You got something to say about my team? Cracker. You are a cracker. Nothing? Okay. Salt shaker. No? Oreo filling. Alright, fine. Albino ape. Zane. Copy and paste. And default color. Wow, I've never seen an experiment this conclusive. It's impossible to offend a white person. Send them home with the $50, and please remember next time, tell the subject to wear all black from the camera. That puking is doing nobody any favors. You got something to say about my team? Cracker. You are a cracker.
Yep. Racism. There's a lot of stuff that helps me out as far as my mentality goes. You know, for a lot of us, listening to music, some good tunes, that can help us out a lot. For me, I have to record for my safety everywhere I go, and all points in time. I have to do so live because, well, trying to find a place to even post it after I've recorded something where I can sit down and actually do everything that's required to get just one of those recordings posted up for YouTube. It takes hours to be able to do that with a good internet connection. And then I have to be allowed and able to use that internet connection for that full 2 hours. That's for a small 5-minute video. A lot of y'all are so used to this easy at your fingertips access to the internet. You've also got access to the internet at home. For me, I'm having to work with broke people, people who have to walk to work. There's a lot of people that no matter what I go through, they're going to interrupt me to tell me how lucky I am to have a car. Well, you're lucky to have a fucking roof over your head. You're also lucky you're not stuck on the streets being targeted. You're also lucky that people aren't just pretending that you just move your house somewhere else and everything will be okay. You haven't had your name slandered worldwide. There's 3 of the channels in Palestine that picked up Natalie Bollinger's story. Palestine, you like how I said that? You're welcome. There's 3 Muslim channels within the Israeli borders that did stories on Natalie Bollinger quite a few months ago. And they had reported that I was the one who killed Natalie. And it's some big murder mystery over there for a little bit. And then the A&E thing came on that I haven't been able to see. And all of a sudden, a whole bunch of these Muslims who had made me out to be a killer, the host got on and said Joseph Michael Lopez is the killer. It was actually all over the Muslim world that they explained that Joseph Michael Lopez was the killer. Now, how would I be treated in these Muslim countries? Oh, I'd be dead. Yeah, I'd get lynched, no problem. It's a true fact. My political opinions, my political ideology, my genetic history and makeup and background, the religion I was raised as, and the religions that I reject. Oh yeah. Hamas would have me disappeared in a matter of minutes, I am certain. I also have a big mouth and I'm fucking opinionated. What are the chances that I'd open my mouth? Pretty damn good. Oh, here's one. Documentaries literally showing drug use. Well, that's not nuts. If y'all know what he's using there, that's part of a needle in his mouth that he's using as a tutor. That's what John was talking about losing last night. He lost a lighter and a couple of dollars and a red tutor straw. There's a channel called Sonic Dad, and they have some really cool projects. Some of them involve pens. Now, if you're homeless and you do any of those projects, well, people are just going to assume that you're a druggie because you have a bunch of clean tutors in your car. So if you do one of them projects from Sonic Dad that requires a ballpoint pen, remember to reassemble it when you're done. Or people are going to jump to conclusions and assume your guilt. People don't bother to find out what the truth is. If it's convenient for them to lie, they'll do it. When you do shit that you can go, oh, well, sort of legally, I don't have to do anything. But then you stop and you go, you know what? This person wants to claim to be a Christian and push themselves on some high and mighty fucking moral pedestal. Morally, you're fucking bankrupt. How many people wanted to go, oh, you need a lawyer? I know I need a lawyer, but I also need you witnesses to come forward. Well, I'm not a lawyer. I didn't say I needed you to be a lawyer. Stop selectively reinterpreting everything that I say into what you want to hear. And everyone does that when they know they can get away with it. Everyone. This is why police need constant monitoring. Let's see. Well, I'd use her on this channel. We got somebody spamming me like an asshole, and he's gone already. You see how easy that is to do? Now, of course, we got druggies out here. They don't want to be judged. Just like we got a bunch of assholes hiding behind the LGBT flag who don't want to be judged either. You can't judge me, I'm gay. Druggies don't want to be judged either, do they? Well, we have to judge. All right, this is the point that y'all need to understand. We have to judge. We have to judge in order to keep ourselves safe, in order to keep our families safe, in order to keep our communities safe. We have to judge, and we have to be judgmental in our decisions. Not every person who comes up to us with a goddamn Christian sob story, I'm a good Christian, I just hit rough times. No, you've been snorting that shit up your goddamn nose for the last 16 years. You only play Christian when you get a benefit out of it. And then there's the guy who's severely getting screwed over. He doesn't believe in your Christianity, because the majority of the Christians he runs into are, well, the same Christians I run into. The ones who use it as an excuse to do nothing. As an excuse to hide behind. Sure, you want the law to work if it's you. When it requires you actually doing something, well, then all of a sudden you're massively religious and trying to look for anything in the Bible that you can twist and contort into an excuse to do nothing. Well, that just makes you a shitty person. Now you've gone from, well, morally, you're doing something wrong, but you're going to try to play it off that you're morally doing something right because there's some obscure law that you want to pretend applies to the situation. Like, how long did it take for you to look that up? And how many laws came up before that one that you read first? Because, of course, I go through and I read these laws. And I'm like, man, you know, there's about 400 laws that you have to go through and read to get to that one little piece. And that one little piece doesn't apply to this situation. And, of course, junkies don't want to be judged as junkies. Natalie didn't want the world to know she was a junkie, but she certainly thought that it was okay for her and her junkie friends to go calling other people junkies. You're going to go calling a man who doesn't do drugs a druggie. That's kind of dumb. When you want to go, oh, well, you know, you drink caffeine, so you're just as bad as a fentanyl dealer. Really? Well, then let's arrest all the people at every fucking Starbucks in America. Let's go arrest the CEO and founder of Folgers or Mr. Coffee. Let's put coffee cups on an offenders list. We need to arrest anybody who has a coffee cup because they're obviously a coffee user. What we really need is to say, you know what? We don't have any real problems with rapists and murderers. We have a lot more coffee drinkers. That's a much bigger problem. So let's let out all the rapists and all of the child molesters. Let's let out all of the murderers because we got so many goddamn coffee dealers. We need to lock up these coffee dealers. We need to shut down all of these businesses that are promoting coffee. We need to shut down all these businesses that sell coffee. They're just trying to get us all hooked on coffee. Then they're going to come break into your garage or your house and steal all your things so they can get some coffee. They're going to get all hopped up on coffee and rape their kids. They're going to get all hopped up on coffee and go shoot a bunch of people. Oh God, coffee. What a dumbass. Now let's take a look at weed. That's right. If somebody smokes weed, then it makes it okay to rape them, doesn't it? If somebody smokes weed, that makes it okay to sexually assault them, doesn't it? If somebody smokes weed, that makes it okay, doesn't it? Doesn't that make it just as acceptable? Doesn't that somehow make it justified that you committed crimes against another person? Oh, well, it's okay. He smokes pot. He's running around destroying people's lives and stealing people's things because he's a pot smoker. All he does every day is Jones for more pot. Goes out and steals people's shit to go get some pot. And then when he's all hopped up on pot, he's running through town and breaking every window and lighting everything on fire because he's a pothead. Well, I haven't done any of those things. The only window in this town that I've broken, I didn't break. It's the passenger window on my car. That's the closest that you get, son. Jesus Christ, y'all are fucking dumb. Now why, oh why, don't I live in Russia? Would I smoke pot if I lived in Russia? No. I wouldn't have to smoke pot if I lived in Russia. Would I smoke pot if I lived in China? How many of the people that I've stayed with have been basically required that I try to contribute to their drug habits, or at least free up money so that they can go take care of their drug habits? Oh, Sean, we need food, we need food, we need food. Okay, I got some food. Oh, good. Now we can feed our kids and spend our money on drugs. Fucking A. Some parents you are. See, the thing is that you want to justify your sins, your bullying, your harassment. Oh, well, you know, tobacco is a drug too, so you're a horrible person. I'm not fucking killing people to get tobacco. I'm not stealing people's shit to get tobacco. I'm not assaulting people to get tobacco. I'm not choosing my own friends and family over tobacco. And I'm not choosing tobacco over my friends and family. I don't have any friends and family. And that's what makes it okay to do things to me. I don't have friends or family. Never did. I had people who pretended to care because I was a nice guy and they could take advantage of that. I grew up in hell and they knew it. So, of course, you tell me a sob story and I'm going to feel bad for you. Well, yeah. Nobody should have to go through what I went through as a kid. But when you're pretending that you went through shit like that just because you want something out of a person, you're a fucked up person. Did Natalie Bollinger really just tell me that shit because she was in love with me or thought she was in love with me? Or did she tell me that shit because it really happened? Well, the fact that she told others, about what her dad did, and so did her sister, means we should probably listen to it, look into it, and do something about it. But we're not. Somebody calling themselves Kingsley Chan type WTF, WTF. Dude, just get the fuck off here. You're getting blocked now. I'm not putting up with a bunch of retarded shit. WTF, WTF, just fucking go away. I don't need people's bullshit. I'm not recording for your fucking entertainment. You expect a person who has been through the hell that I've been through to act perfect at all points in time. You're going to make every excuse why it's okay for anybody else to be fucking harmful and evil and fucking mean. And then you're going to pretend that I'm a bad person if I have any reaction other than thank you for fucking abusing me. God damn. Yes, I know that coming to YouTube and speaking up here means that I have to put up with a bunch of fucking trolls. But you know what? Go onto my Facebook to try to talk to my friends after Natalie died. It was non-stop trolls who wouldn't leave me the fuck alone. Instead of handling this professionally, predators went out of their way to ignore the law to make me a fucking target. There were no HIPAA laws ever observed at any point in time. At no point in time was the safety of the actual victim a priority. Every mandated reporter I have gone to has gone out of their way not to do their goddamn job. No, it is not okay to refuse to do your job just because someone has a dick. It is not okay to try to peg people for crimes they didn't commit just because they have a penis. It's not okay to victimize a person just for being homeless. And it's not okay to pretend that your victimization is okay by pretending they must be a drug dealer and therefore must deserve it. You're fucked in the head. Oh, we got more idiots with fake accounts being douchebags. Somebody calling themselves Bell wanted to type that I'm gay. So we take a screenshot of that. It's one of them messages held for review. And then we're going to, again, hide user on this channel. That's easy. The thing is, I wouldn't have to deal with this abuse that I have to deal with coming forward on YouTube if my rights as a human being had been observed from the fucking start. I have taken non-stop abuse because of something that's not my fault. I didn't ask to be born with a penis, and I didn't ask for women to be all sexist against men. I haven't met a single man or woman in this country who's not sexist against men, and they all show it when a man is fucking abused. You pretend a sandwich is help. A sandwich doesn't stop abuse, you dumb cunt. Hey, stupid bitch. The help that a man provides you when you're in a dangerous situation. Yeah, a man needs that help too, you stupid snatch. Jesus Christ, y'all are some dumb son of a bitches. Fucking disgusting. There are no good fucking people. You say, oh, well, you shouldn't go to the internet. Well, holy hell. I shouldn't have to go to the internet. But I do have to speak up and at least try to be fucking heard. By refusing to do their jobs for at-risk and disabled adults, every single government agency that I have had to go to has taken advantage of bias, propaganda, and fucking slander. None of you are good people. If you're going to look away to this happening to other people, or you're just going to bullshit the other victims. Oh, I'm sorry that happened to you. Shut the fuck up. No, you're not. Don't tell me to give it to Jesus. That just exposes you as a fucking fake. How many good Christians have I run into? None. Christians are the most complacent people in this country, unless it comes to hating people. Nobody hates better than the Christians. Christians literally have an excuse to hate every single person who doesn't think like them. The Bible needs to be fucking abolished. Bringing up God or Jesus in court is immoral, or as an excuse not to do your legal duty as an American. Well, your duty as an American today is to be a coward. Nearly every man I know who's married is scared shitless of his wife. You get married because it's what she wants, and then she immediately turns into a fucking monster. And you can't leave or she gets all your shit. If you're abused, you just have to keep it to yourself, or people are going to ostracize you and criticize you and bully you. Or she'll abuse the shit out of you, and when you speak up, she'll just go slander your name to everyone you know. You want to slander my name and use that as an excuse to harm me? Well, you want to go calling me a pedophile? I'll call you a pedophile. You want to throw a tantrum? Well, maybe you should have thought about that before doing that shit to people. Maybe you think twice before making false accusations. Maybe you think twice before assaulting people. But no, none of these people have consequences. So they don't think twice. Hell, they get away with it. They get more brazen. I suppose I should probably message a lady who's going to help me today. It's 2:09. She said she was going to get off work early, but also yesterday she she had to show up at midnight. Tried not to get you in the recording of Kevin and John throwing tantrums at each other. Alright, now as late as it is, also it's as early as they had to be here last night, I might not get a response. Now y'all get to hear all the angry, hateful stuff at me, don't you? All the necessities of life. As a man, if you talk calmly and clearly and concisely, you're just going to get talked over like you're a retard with no major problem. Oh, if there was a major problem, he'd be throwing a tantrum, wouldn't he? He's a dude, right? Well, how about we stop listening to women tell us what men are? A woman doesn't get to define you. You define yourself through your choices and actions. If you have to break a window to save a child's life, yeah, maybe it's going to be a rich person's car you have to do that with, or a judge's car, or a police officer's car. And maybe you'll get arrested, and maybe for the rest of your life in your community, you'll get treated like the vandal who breaks into cars. But does that make it okay? We got a bunch of uppity women want to blame men for every problem they've ever had. It's all men's fault. No, 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 no. Difference between men and women, we're taught to take responsibility. When a man accuses somebody of sexually assaulting them, not accuses someone of sexual assault, that doesn't make anyone guilty. But when a man expressly tells you that somebody has sexually assaulted him, chances are pretty fucking good he's telling the truth. Whereas with women, we've seen this trend of women bragging about lying about a man. Sorry, I have nerve damage in my right hand, thanks to Officer Waylon Lolatai of Boulder, Colorado. There's also the chance that because they had to show up, her and her husband yesterday, that they might not even see this. They might both be asleep. Oh, this was funny. It says when a gay guy gets to heaven.
Hey there, name and cause of death? Yeah, Alex, and I was killed by a train. Oh, I'm sorry to hear you say that. Do you have any questions for me? Yeah, actually I do. Why'd you make me gay? What's that? Why'd you make me gay? I'm not complaining or anything, but you definitely made my life a lot harder. We know. Right? Look, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't make anybody gay. Everybody chooses who or what they're attracted to. Wait, really? But I thought... Actually, let me ask you this. Did you eat a lot of broccoli growing up? Broccoli? Yeah, I guess my parents are pretty strict about me eating my vegetables. Ah, well, there you have it. There you have what? Broccoli makes people gay. What? Broccoli makes people gay. You probably ate a lot of it as a kid, so you grew up gay as an adult. God, that's unbelievable. How is it even possible? It's got to be the specific combination of the vitamins and the minerals when a kid growing up is... Good one. Hey, by the way, I was meaning to ask you this. How'd you get killed by a train? It says that you died in your bedroom.
Yeah.
Name and cause of death? Yeah, Alex, and I was killed by a train. Oh, I'm sorry to hear you say that. Do you have any questions for me? Yeah, actually I do. Why'd you make me gay? What's that? Why'd you make me gay? I'm not complaining or anything.
That's actually not the one that I thought it was, though. I wonder what this one says.
Military is critically short on people. We are seeing it pretty bad in military intelligence, for example. A lot of open slots in the military intelligence field in the Army. Those of us in the operational force, this is kind of frustrating. But for anybody considering joining the military right now, it poses a unique opportunity. If you join the military right now, right, somewhere between now and a year from now, you'll get to your first unit. And that depends on how long it actually takes, the enlistment process, if you need waivers, if you need special circumstances, going to basic, going to AIT, going to any additional schools after AIT. Right, it's just a general number. Then you get to your unit, and you're one of the most junior guys there, if not the most junior. But you're part of the next wave of people that 5-6 years down the line, you've started to look at making E5, maybe you make it E6, and now you get to shape the next generation of troops as they come in. Military is critically short on people.
That guy is funny, although that's not one of the funnier ones. What's this one?
This is probably the loneliest I've ever felt in my 32, 31. I'm in therapy and I'm 34. Codependency group. I'm so done. 31? 32. You have so much leverage and so many options, I can't even tell you.
No, you do not. Not as many as you think. You have lots of sex options. But guys, most men aren't really looking to get married. They're not.
This is probably the loneliest I've ever felt in my
32.
What do we get out of getting married? Victimized for the rest of our lives.
It's just that I have a girlfriend, and again, I completely get that, but
being kind of an asshole, actually. So
I'm not being an asshole. I'm sorry. I'm just telling you how it is.
do you think I'm not pretty or something?
What?
Do you think I'm not pretty? Or
No,
because that's usually not a problem.
Listen, you kind of twist my arm here. I'm not getting into this conversation. I'm just telling you that, no. And that's it. So I'm sorry to make you kind of uncomfortable. I'm kind of going to get out of here.
Whatever. Actually, never mind. Please don't give me your number, actually.
All right, well.
Please.
This is a prime example of a woman that doesn't understand that this is most men. I said it, most men are good men. But there are so many women out there that believe the opposite. This is clearly one of them because she just cannot understand his answers. And I think it is clearly reflective of her own values. So much so that even if that man didn't have a girlfriend, he would have lost all potential attraction.
Just that I have a girlfriend.
Yep, that's pretty sure. Have your boyfriend fix it.
These are 3 things we keep saying to guys thinking they are compliments, and they are...
Oh, Jesus. That lady's dumb as a fucking stump.
She wasn't ready.
Dominant narrative in America is white people are evil, white people suck, we should be ashamed of ourselves. And
I don't think we should be ashamed of ourselves. I think that we should take responsibility for the system that we've created.
the best system in the
We've
world.
created.
Oh, we do not have the best
And
system.
it's
Who
not
has
the
a better
best
system?
system in the world.
There are many European countries that are much better off
Oh,
than
you
us.
mean like...
But we're
European
not taught
countries
about
are
any of
points.
these.
Like
We're
Northern
just told America's the best. We're great.
That's
Uh-huh.
one way to phrase it, I guess.
You don't mean Turkey.
No.
You don't mean Eastern Europe with the communists. So the only time you can come up with a system that's better than America, it's a country
Well, who's
that's
to
more
say
white.
that none of these systems are better than America? Hell, the Chinese system you don't have much chance of becoming a drug addict. Whoever's honking ain't honking at me. Wire guided tank killer. The swing fire. I thought they were taking out all of the wire guided because they do collection. That's right, the tow missile system can be rendered useless if there's too much dew in the morning. You have to let it dry before you can fire it, or you end up with issues. Also, since the wires are coiled, some of the condensation will get stuck in between the coils, and that makes it take a lot longer for it to eventually evaporate its way out. We got rid of the tow system because of that. I didn't know we were retrying it.
America is so racist. Europeans developing new types of racism, previously thought impossible to achieve, after seeing a Romanian. People in Northern Europe with 12 degrees Celsius weather, when Americans complain about heat. Europe.
Y'all realize America is huge, right? We have nearly every type of land here in America. We got swamps. We got northern swamps, southern swamps. We've got a lot of stuff that's pretty close to the equator. And we've got at least 3 different colonial holdings in the equator. We've got places that get hot as fuck. We have places in the United States that are hotter annually than the Middle East. The Middle East is on the equator. How is it the portions of the United States get that hot? Lack of foliage.
I've been able to do everything I wanted easy. I think most women are just lazy. And we see that because most women are fat now.
What?
Yeah.
What has that got to do with anything?
Well, it's a lack of discipline, that's for sure. A lack of discipline.
Lack of discipline.
Yeah, I would say thinner people are more disciplined and shape people more disciplined. Women that are fatter are less disciplined.
That is not what we're talking about. I completely disagree with it. I see where you're coming from on some points, but I completely disagree with that point.
Let's completely disagree with logic. Not every single fat person out there has a fucked up gene that makes them fat that's not their fault. Well, how about 3 pizzas for lunch? That's not your fault? You like to taste the food. A lot of us do. That's fine.
They're called bionic boomers. Seniors once riddled with debilitating arthritis pain. Given a new...
Great. On 24th February 2022, Russia invaded Ukraine, Tillamook. I couldn't read it fast enough.
I didn't expect. I didn't realize that something like this could happen, and on such a scale.
Up until the very last moment, I couldn't believe it.
I thought it was just the usual saber rattling. My family and I, we weren't prepared for what happened.
Dear citizens of Kupiansk, the events unfolding around our town can't help but affect us. Many people are panicking. Listen to me. Do not panic. We must remain disciplined and level-headed.
Mikola wouldn't hear of it, leaving and going somewhere else.
We're veterans of the Donbass War. We didn't go through all that so that the Russians could capture our town.
From what I understand, Mikola was waiting for our military to send in reinforcements, troops.
When he realized there would be no reinforcements, he understood that the town would be overrun. And he knew he couldn't count on Mayor Matsuhora.
Today, at 7:30 a.m., the commander of the Russian battalion called to propose negotiations.
All right, so we got modern AT sniper teams. What's an AT sniper? These guys go after tanks. An AT sniper team is usually a 3-man team. One man with an RPG rocket, and he hides in a hole. Now his job isn't to disable the tank, or his job isn't to destroy the tank. Most modern battle tanks aren't going to be destroyed by just an RPG. Then you've got the sniper himself, and, well, you could be an American hunter with a loopholed scope and do this job. If you see a big spotting scope, that's an infrared. You plug a hole in that. You also plug holes in pretty much anywhere that has the bullet-resistant glass. Well, that's so that people can see out of that. So you make sure that you splinter that. They can't see out of that glass. And the second shot usually projects the glass backwards into their face. Taking out a tank with a sniper team requires more than one shot. But it's also a situation where, what are you trying to do? You're trying to make it so the tank can't see you. So the people inside have to get out to take a look. So that if they fire their gun, they're not going to be able to fire it accurately. Because they can't see nothing. But you also have to be a really good shot. And have to be up pretty close. And that tank is probably not going super slow. It's not the same thing as it was back in World War II. You got to wait till they pull over for maintenance, which, thank goodness, is still a common occurrence with Russian artillery, even mobile artillery such as tanks. Any tracked vehicle is going to need excessive maintenance. Any heavy tonnage vehicle is going to require excessive maintenance. And that gives you a lot of opportunities to drop stuff from the top. And if you don't have the ability to do that, you still have sniper teams that are dedicated to the project. Now the RPG, what's that for? That's for hopefully knocking off the tank. The tank tracks anything of that nature. Anything that makes it mobile, or trying to hit it in between the turret and the top, which isn't necessarily that easy with an RPG. You're better off going for the tracks. Oh, God, I'm going fucking nuts. Alright, I'm gonna end this video for a bit. Good to be with you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and no victim left behind. People who get onto the internet and bully, you got two types. You got bullies that get a hold of me to harass me, and then you got bullies who bully back. That's me. I also don't hide who I am. I don't hide my name. I don't hide my face. I was accused of making dozens of fake accounts to harass and stalk a woman, when in reality I made 2 of them to beg for help stopping actual abuse. But no, that doesn't fit the narrative that you want to sell of all men are horrible monsters and it's okay to harm them. Fuck this goddamn country and everyone in it.